Alright, we are live. Let some people filter in and we'll get started. Yep. Okay. I might as well just jump in, start playing, and people will filter in as they filter in. If anybody is currently sitting in the chat, hello, welcome to another stream. Be here for a couple hours, and today we're looking at pinball because, oh, I like pinball. And we had requests for it last time, specifically for Pokemon Pinball, which, I'll be frank, I'm actually not overly familiar with. I played a little bit of it growing up, though I was more of a Kirby pinball guy when it comes to Game Boy pinball. But I did play a little bit of this just throughout the week, and it's solidly designed video pinball. I do like the catching mechanic in this game, because that's kind of the fun part about it, is once you've got that activated, you are going for the bumpers at the top to reveal the Pokemon, which I'm not hitting well, and you're catching it, which is just, it's a cool stage gimmick. Yeah, there we go. That should be enough. Yeah, absolutely, that's definitely enough. Only the one space... I mean, that game's a classic. Space Pinball is an absolute classic. That's probably how I spent more time in high school and middle school than I would have liked to admit, is playing Space Pinball, but, you know. There's so much more to the genre than that. Oh. Yeah, so we're gonna play Pokemon Pinball 1 for a little bit. The request I had last week was for Pokemon Pinball 2, but I'm OCD in a way where I need to play the original before I play the sequel. So we're gonna play a little bit of this, then jump into the sequel, and then we're just gonna jump into probably some Pinball Arcade, because that is my preferred video pinball platform of choice. Oh man, it's hard to play pinball and look at chat at the same time. That's fine. That's what ball savers are for. And need to get that Weepin' Bell? That's the one. My Pokemon knowledge has degraded in the last 30 years? I don't know. God knows how long, however long it's been. And man, I cannot remember any of these fuckers' names anymore. Come on, need to get them in. Ugh. That's the other aspect of this machine, too, that I always forget, is that, this machine, it's not video pinball, I keep wanting to call it a machine or a table. Pikachu acts as a kicker, but he moves when you change sides for the flippers, which is unlike any other, real-world table. So it absolutely screws me up having to remember that that's there. It's a really nice thing to have there, because normally, you have to activate kickers, it's the whole thing, but I just always forget that it's a thing in the first place. I agree, there are only 151. Or at least I want to say that. My kid got really into Pokemon for a while. He's since evolved and become a Digimon fan, which is the right way to be. But as a result, I had to learn about all of the new Pokemon, and... Again, I don't remember any of their names. All I know is they all look stupid. The quality has gone down. Come on. There we go. Is that gonna be enough? No. I need to get him up there. Ugh. There's like a whole journey aspect to these tables as well that I haven't quite gotten the handle of, where as you're collecting Pokemon, you're going from location to location, and that changes the Pokemon you are catching. But because it's, done in the style of a pinball table, it's all kind of confined to that little window at the bottom, so It's not super clear exactly what's happening at any given time. There we go. Now, if only I could have done that 30 seconds ago while I was actually in catch phase. Oh well. I do like what they've done with the music as well, where they've taken the Pokemon themes, but they've, like, jazzed them up a little bit. They've tried to give them this arcade feel, which they didn't have to do that. They could have just used Pokemon themes. No one would have cared. But that they recompose them is fun. After we, run out of balls on this table, we'll go to the blue table, because both of the Pokemon Pinball games, of course, in the style of the games, have different version tables that play differently. Yes, I know, hurry up. Oh, you're wanting it up that side, okay. Can I dribble over there? Yeah, I see the timer. There we go. Oh. And there's how you go to the next level, is that pit that I absolutely just did not get into. Alright, well, let's go see the blue table. Which I don't like as much, because the center for the blue table is way harder to hit properly. That scoop between the Slowpoke and the Cloyster? I'm gonna say that's Cloyster. Is a real bitch to get up. And yeah, they do this, like, there's this vacuum force in there, which, man, I don't know how to deal with that. My brain's still working on, like, regular table physics. Oh man, it sucks it down really fast, too. Oh, come on. Couple more. Yeah, like I said earlier, I never really played too much of this one. Oh. But I know it was really popular. Like, this was the... We don't have a Pokemon game on the Game Boy Color yet, as I recall. I think this was pre-Silver and Gold, and it was, well, I bought the Game Boy Color, I need something to do on it that's Pokemon-related, because it's, you know, 1998 or whatever. And this was the game you played. It was this and the trading card game, which, man, that was, you know, we all had our adventures with that at the time. I remember trading away my brother's Charizard and him getting very pissed. Which was fair. Come on. There we go. Okay. So how's everybody doing this week? Everybody got your votes in for the coming soon? That does end on Monday night after all, so if you have not put your vote in for the next main video yet, now is the time. Yeah, come on, I want to get those bonuses. There we go. You're not adroit with pinball. Hitting the flippers will always change the upper lights in most tables, so you can get those multiplier bonuses. Yeah, that's that whole idea of changing locations. Which, again, neat mechanic. Gives a lot of... Oh, and my Pokeball has changed. It's now a... I don't know, Ultra Ball. Ball save for 30 seconds. Hopefully not going to need that. But yes, get your votes in if you haven't, because time is running out. There is a current clear winner, but things are actually pretty close, so a few more votes would easily sway things. Not that I'm going to share what it is, because that would not be fair. There we go. Trying to focus on getting that right. The only issue with these tables is it's not super clear what I have to hit in order to get into that catch phase. The labeling's not great. I'm sure if I had the manual, that would make things pretty clear as to what I should be doing here, but yeah. There we go. There's a catch phase. Oh, no. Alright. Is that gonna be enough? Oh, hey, the Pokeball changed again. Yeah, it's down. I can hear it. Ah. Come on. No, no. Oh, no, I got the saver on. That's fine. Hello. Filter it in as we're just still going through the first Pokemon Pinball. We'll go through the second later. By the way, I did look at the games you were recommending last week. I haven't picked up any yet, but that Forestera one looks really cool. Very much in that kind of God Hand mold, as you were saying. I'm waiting for that to come out. I've got that on the wish list. Up we go. Oh, again, like, I could have moved Pikachu over there. He acts as a kicker. I just keep forgetting it. Yes, the stream. So we've done a lot more. I did some work ahead of this stream to actually ensure it doesn't sound like dog shit this time. Made sure the levels look good. Figured out what was going on last week, which was just some OBS shenanigans. Just got some stuff sorted, so it should be a lot smoother this time. Still hoping to maybe get chat on screen at one point, but it requires more work and setup than I was willing to do in this week. Maybe next time. Ah. Gotta start paying attention to what I'm doing. Oh, I just completely bailed out at the end there. I still have a ball left? Huh. I must have earned an extra one at some point. I could swear I was all out. Oh well. Oh, we got catch going. Right, there's no nudge on this table. That is something they did not do until the later one. So you can't, force things a little bit, which is a pity, but at the same time, the machine's kind of janky as it is, so I'm not, wholly surprised by that. I hate trying to go up the middle for those. Alright. Have to do some dribbling. There we go. Again, really like these just very jazzy renditions of all the Pokemon music. They could have just put the raw music in there. People would have been happy with that. Nope. Oh, I got the saver on, it's fine. But, nah, having it be, you know, a little bit more upbeat totally works for what the game is. And catch. Oh, no, one more. Ah. I know they're good. I've got H&D on the list as well. I haven't picked it up yet. If you watch The Last Coming Soon, you know money's a bit tight, so I'm trying to not make extra purchases whenever I can. It's on the list, though. Next big sale. It goes cheap. I'll try to pick it up. Ooh, I've not seen these bonus stages before. Nice. Oh, man, they really want you to have solid ball control here. Oh, but at the very least, they don't cut your, I would have expected it to be one and done, where as soon as you're out, you've lost it. That's a nice little change. Get that, and... Just abusing this Meowth. What did he ever do? I guess that kind of fits into Pokemon's whole theme of animal abuse, but you know, whatever. Not that I'm gonna go on that train, obviously. Yeah. Hopefully I'll get out of that situation relatively soon. I'm already picking up some freelance stuff, and like I said in that video, you know, the hope is that eventually the channel will get to a point where it's kind of doing the job, but for now, we'll just play it by ear. Lots of good stuff in the backlog to play. God knows I am not without games. God knows. If anything, it's a good excuse to actually play through all those things that I have bought during Steam sales and such, and not leave them unplayed in the library. What am I doing here? I want up the side ramps. Okay. Oh, they want it. Alright. Oh, go to next. Alright. As soon as we ball out of this table, I think we will switch over to Pokemon Pinball 2. Because while this game is solid, it is, you know, as makes sense, it is a little on the simple side. And I know 2 has some more mechanics to it that are pretty interesting. So come on, I want to see that slot machine though. Ugh. Oh! I activated Pokemon mode and lost that opportunity. Damn it. Never been so pissed to have to catch a Pokemon. Yeah, just go in there, let it do its thing. That weird vacuum there is so bizarre. Like, I can't imagine how that would work in physics. I just have to assume, like, maybe the table's sloped down like that, which is the opposite of how a pinball table works, so, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, we are at a stage for, I don't know, game nostalgia where, you know, the NES has had its day, the SNES has had its day, we've kind of had the era of N64 and PlayStation revivalism. We're now into that, like, mid-PS2, 360, like, that's the era that's nostalgic now, and it's time to start talking about some of those more forgotten games again. So, I'm happy to be part of that. Small, 200 points. 200 points, like, come on, that's nothing. Also, wow, when did I get 96 million points? Alright, cool. That's a nice high score, I'll take that. Yeah, 103 mil. That's not bad. Is that, yeah, it's enough to get a high score. I will take it. See. There we go. Alright, actually, I haven't taken a look at this Pokedex. Let's, jump in there and see if it actually... Oh, there we go. Alright. Get the classic Pokedex. Kind of crammed in, but it's there. That's fun. Let's switch over to, Pokemon Pinball 2. So we're gonna go to the break screen for a second while I change out cartridges in this totally legit Game Boy Advance I'm playing on. Absolutely. Make sure that's... There we go. We're just gonna switch that over. Yes, jazz time. The one thing about the stream last time that worked properly. Yeah, I mean, they're not all gonna be perfect. Like, that's the thing. Not all these old games are gonna hold up. So, you know, it is what it is. Alright. Should load up. Transition over. Yeah, obviously a lot more flavor to this one. But yeah, I mean, you know, I'd love to recommend them all, but that's just not the way it's gonna be. Like, every game's gonna have its own flavor, and I was having a big conversation in the comments with somebody about this recently. It's all context dependent. Like, I try to make sure when I'm going through the games I'm playing that at the end of it, I'm rarely just saying you should or shouldn't play it. It's if you have a weekend and you're with a buddy, yeah, go play Inversion. If you are a diehard Disney fan, yeah, go play Epic Mickey. It might not be good for everybody else, but I try to make sure that there's that kind of contexting in there where, for the people who that game does make sense for, I'm kind of putting it in front of them. It's just, does the average person want to play it? You know. That's where things get different. I'm glad to hear my videos kept popping on your page, because honestly, it feels like YouTube does not give the channel enough play just looking at impressions, so to hear that it was is what I want to hear. I'll start off with a Ruby board. Normal ball speed is fine. I know what I'm doing. Yeah, you see a lot more detail, a lot more labeling. Like this version of the game, absolutely, they've clearly fleshed some things out. If anything, they've actually maybe over-explained it. They've definitely made the ball physics a little tighter, though. Like, it's a lot easier to dribble the ball and kind of get it where you need to go in this game than it was in the first game, which, yeah, makes sense. Game audio is gone? Oh, yeah, hold on. I see what happened. Should we get an audio again now? Forgot to unmute from the break screen. That was all me. There you go. A lot more chill, the music in this one too. Like it's going for just cool down after you've been playing other games. There's also multiple ways to catch a Pokemon in this one, which is kind of neat, where you can do you can hatch them as well as catch them, which that's a neat idea. Just more variety in general to what you can do on the table. Let's see if we can make hatch mode activate. No. Ugh. There we go. You get catch at least. That said, we are absolutely getting into the era where it's like, I don't recognize some of these Pokemon. I played Ruby and Sapphire back in the day, but not enough that I... Well, I mean, I recognize Machoke, of course, but, like, most of these are out of the 151. I don't recognize them. The spin-offs are... I've always kind of preferred the Pokemon spin-offs for the most part. I mean, I played a lot of, you know, the first couple games back in the day. And I played, like, Pokemon Stadiums, but I've always found the spin-offs to be kind of the more interesting things with the franchise. Kind of seems like that's where Nintendo and the Pokemon Company allow those teams to just be a little bit more creative about what they're doing story-wise, about what they're kind of approaching mechanically. Play around. Oh, Yaiba. We're talking about other spin-offs. Oh, Yaiba. I want to love Yaiba. Yaiba was a game I was so excited for when it was announced, and even, you know, even as I started playing it, it's just rough. Yeah, Pokemon. I mean, as a Tekken is probably my favorite fighting game franchise, so I need to actually sit down and play Pokemon. But I love the idea of Pokemon just giving more Tekken, and in such a weird way of like, yeah, we're just gonna make tech with Pokemon. That makes sense, I guess. Try to get to that Pokemon Mart. Nope, that's the catch. Need to get it higher up for the Pokemon Mart. There's that kicker I mentioned last time, where you can, yeah, you just gotta move him around. Gotta punch something. Yeah. I wonder if that affects, maybe that's what that Pikachu meter is at the bottom. How many kicks I've got. It would seem way too easy if you could just kick whenever you want by just moving Pikachu around. But, then again, I've clearly already shown it's not necessarily intuitive, so who knows. Oh, I am having a hell of a time getting these where I want them to go. Come on, let's... Alright. Sometimes you just need the ball to end. Get your momentum back. And then start doing the same bullshit over again. Oh. But yeah, a lot of those spin-offs are definitely where the more interesting things happen. I mean, like, Yaiba's a good example of them trying to do something interesting. Again, I don't necessarily think it works. But it's certainly, you know, like, doing interesting things. I mean, The Bureau is a great example of that as well, where that is a game that is, you know, trying to do something very interesting with that franchise. I think that one works pretty well gameplay-wise. Obviously, it had a lot of issues in development, but it is what it is. It's also often where they pull in different side studios that have some really interesting ideas. I mean, when we talked about Bullet Witch, obviously, like, that's a lot of what Kavia did prior to that game, prior to Nier, is a lot of weird spin-offs and those Japanese shadow games I kind of talked about, where it's things like, I think they did Resident Evil Gun Survivor and stuff like that. Oh, I have coins. What can I buy? Ball Saver? Anything else? No. Interesting this is a buy thing rather than a slot machine this time. Huh. There's any game that I enjoyed so much that I could not figure out why it got the hate apart from being different. There's definitely been a couple. Oh, I mean, there's an obvious answer, actually. That's Homefront: The Revolution. I love that game. I think it's a fantastic first-person shooter. I think it does some really interesting things structurally, as far as, like, how you were expected to approach combat situations, about how the open world design works in that game, all of that. And people fucking hate that game. People still think that game is bad. One of the videos that gets most often pushed as something that recommends people to my channel is the video that's like, Homefront: The Revolution is like the worst Homefront game ever made, which, I mean, there's two, so, you know, whatever. You're not exactly setting up this huge thing, but, like, people still hate that game, and I don't get why. There's some jank here and there, and yeah, the story is, yeah, but, like, that game is very fun. There's a lot of, it's really well designed. It's really well, like, the visuals look great. Like, that is a good game, and I'm always shocked that people still give it the hate. Like, I kind of got it at the time because it was a broken mess when it launched, which, yeah, totally fair. But that has been patched to, Pikachu, what are you doing? Let my ball slip. That has been patched in a way where, like, that game works fine now. Yeah, maybe it just rubs them the wrong way. I mean, I know there's a lot of people who don't like Homefront in general because they feel it's a little jingoistic, but so is every first-person shooter from that time, so whatever. But yeah, like, I think that game is really solid, and it still surprises me to no end that people seem to genuinely, like, despise it. Certainly other games as well, ones that I've not covered. Yeah, I mean, again, at launch, should you have paid $60 for it? You know, back when games were $60. Yeah, probably not. Because it was, again, a buggy mess. But it was like $5 within a year, and at that point, like, it is a no-brainer beyond belief. Like, it's such a good game at that point. Yeah, it was certainly that oversaturation of first-person shooters, and very specifically, like, realistic first-person shooters at that time, caused some really caused some people to have some very strong opinions. And I think that really hit that game in the wrong way. My last ball, and then we'll move on to the Sapphire table. Then we might move on to some pinball arcade, some real pinball, proper tables, because that's really where my passion in this genre lies. Not that these are bad, these are quite good. Again, kind of surprised by how solid these Pokemon Pinball tables have all been. COD Ghost. So when was it? Maybe 7-8 years ago? I played through all of the, at that time, existing Call of Duty campaigns, kind of just for shits and giggles, really. And COD Ghost is a tough one. Like, it's not good. It earned its reputation, but it does have a lot of really interesting ideas to it, and there is some solid stuff in there. But man, it's kind of rough. Signals of the Tova, that's it. I like that game quite a bit. I've played less of it than I'd like to, but I've played a good chunk of it. The only issue with it is that it is a little It's a little overly quiet, if you know what I mean. It's a little too solemn, which is fine if that's what you're in the mood for. But it does make it a little hard to play casually. It's not the sort of thing I want to just like go in and, you know, spend a couple hours noodling about in, like I would with a lot of more open first-person shooters, let's call them. I do like that game, though. I need to go back to it. That's a stream at one point, or a video. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, the COD campaigns are their own mixed bag. People hate Infinite Warfare. That's another one where you ask, like, what's a game that people hate that I actually kind of love? Infinite Warfare is a great example of that. People hate that game because it came out at the same time as Titanfall 2, I believe? No, or was it Titanfall 1? I don't remember. I don't like Advanced Warfare as much. Infinite Warfare is the one I really got into. But yeah, those campaigns at least are way better than people give them credit for. There is a lot of fun there. Even the story for Infinite Warfare is not terrible. Like the dogfighting, space dogfighting stuff is fun. It came out compared to other things that were better, which hurt it. That's really the biggest problem for that. Yeah, yeah, it's definitely the point of Tulva. It's just, that's not necessarily what I'm looking for in an FPS. Like when I'm just trying to quietly play one, you know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, Infinite was definitely the last Call of Duty campaign I actually, like, enjoyed. I hated World War II, and that was kind of my exit point for the series at that point. But yeah, Tulva, like, quietness, definitely the point of Tulva. It's just, that's not always what I want. You know what I mean? Especially with a shooter. Like, if I want quiet, there's other things I might lean on more. That spinner's a neat idea at the top there. Whoa. I don't like the way that effect looks at all. I'm sure that looks better on a smaller screen. But man, that is unpleasant. I want to make that happen again. I don't think I've actually played this table yet. I think I only looked at the Ruby table when I tested this out during the week. Man, all this music is so low impact, especially compared to the first game where that was like very jazzy, very upbeat. This is all very, very chill. Oh yeah, that effect. I don't like that at all. Pikachu just doesn't have the juice. There we go. Okay, so that's charging up that. That makes sense. Get in there. I want to see some of those more interesting things on that slot machine. Always gives me ball saver. Oh. Where's the catch? It's up at the corner there. Okay. Ugh. No, not quite. I gotta get that angle down. It'd be easier if that wasn't so jarring. Alright, let's see. So it should be right about. Nope, that was too high. Nope. What am I... Yeah. That's a hell of an angle to catch. I'm sure I'll get it. I'm sure it's easy once you get that figured out. But man, that is a hell of an angle to figure out right at the start just because it's kind of got that marker up at the top of the screen. Alright, so it should be right. Nope. There we go. That took way too long. Bumpers that I'm now being terrible about actually getting into. Couldn't stay out of them before. There we go. That'll get me right into there. There we go. There's good pinball theory to these tables. Like A good pinball table should essentially tell a story. You should be working through a task that is abstract because it's pinball, but is relatively clearly marked. And this idea of catching Pokemon, then switching locations, and all of that, like that works quite well. From a, again, classic pinball design methodology standpoint. There's maybe, the table's maybe a little too busy at the top, but still works. Take my ball. That's a fun little fact. I mean, that is always the joy of like, that is the competing design standards of video pinball, is are you slavishly following the rules of what the real world can do and making a table that could exist in real life, or are you doing something kind of fantastical that you could not theoretically make a real version of? That is, what direction are you going? Personally, I kind of prefer realistic tables, real tables, but when a game does the Unreal table stuff well, it is very enjoyable, and I think this game does do that quite well. Again, uses those mechanics in quite a smart way to just tell that story, give you things to do on the table, places to aim. Again, just good pinball fundamentals. Especially interesting considering that, like, you know, Game Freak, they are not a pinball developer otherwise. Normally that's something you kind of specialize in. Hey, multiplayer. He's gonna take my ball again. I kind of feel like that should do more than that. Having him fly off screen just to drop it right back seems kind of wasteful. Feels like that should be a bonus stage or something. Make it harder to get to, but just, you know, get quite an effect. Make it do more. Well, I finally opened up the Pokemon. See if I can actually get in there. Yeah. So, I used to feel that way. You know, when I started playing a lot of pinball stuff, I was definitely more partial to a lot of the 90s Williams stuff that is very eye candy focused. It's a lot of just, like, colorful shit on screen and loud noises and things moving. As I've played more pinball, I've come to appreciate the quieter machines more, the ones that are very much kind of focused on design. There's some, like, 60s Gottlieb ones, which, while they are massively unfair because the drains are huge, there's a simplicity of design to them that becomes really, really appealing once you've kind of played enough pinball to understand how it's supposed to work. Oh, I don't play pinball as much as I'd like, but whenever I get the chance, it's something I do. We talked about the Pinball Museum in Vegas last time. Whenever I'm in that town, I try to always make a point to go. And then, like, even just, if I'm any arcade I'm ever at, pinball is immediately where I head. There's a record store in the town that I live that has a whole bunch of pinball machines. I always, like, I don't even, not necessarily a big record guy, I will go to that store just to play pinball. Like, I adore it. And then obviously video pinball as well. I've played an absolute crap ton of Pinball Arcade, especially, which we're going to jump into after this. And other tables as well. I mean, there's yeah, it's absolutely love it or hate it. You kind of have to... It's love it or hate it, and you kind of have to spend some time with it, even if you like it, to get to a point with it where you are good enough at the overall mechanics. Things like catching and dribbling the ball to see enough of a table to really appreciate it and enjoy it. I mean, I love RPGs and fighting games too, but pinball is my simple, dirty pleasure, I guess. Like, it's very easy to get kind of frustrated with pinball at the start before you kind of know how to do things like properly catch the ball on the flippers and, like, you know, do things like this where I'm holding it on there. I know I want to get that, I don't know, plush toy that's masquerading as a Pokemon. I'm gonna wait for it to come down a little bit again. Oh, it just ran away. Asshole. Alright. well, you know, kind of planning out your shots like that. Like, that's the trick to good pinball. Hey, man, you know, everybody does what they need to do. We all have a dirty pleasure. Yeah. Ooh, I can evolve. Yeah, sure. Evolve. Do it. I mean, there's a lot of third-person cover shooters to feel guilty about, frankly. Yeah, well, they kind of have. I think they kind of have to do that in order to make it look proper, because it wasn't in the first one, and it definitely showed where it looked a little janky. By having it be that fake 3D, which has got to be just like an absolute shit ton of frames, it really does do some interesting things with just how the game looks. Oh, I need to get up there. I only have a minute and a half to get that evolution. Okay. Let's see if I can make that work. I need to get it down to a place where I can actually catch the ball. Oh, no, that's not good. I didn't have enough momentum. Oh, level up. Come on. There we go. Oh, and now it's moved down. Oh, what? Just let me do it. Why are you gonna make multiple targets for it? There. No, still? Alright. How do I still... I feel like I've been playing this table forever, man. That's some dedication to get the whole Pokedex, but one. Did just... I mean, I guess with the way this game works, it's just random, like, just happens that one never shows up. But yeah, that's gotta be infuriating past the point. I mean, we'll see. I mean, I will say this. Devil's Hunt is not currently winning the vote. But I'll get to it eventually either way. I've played through that game before. I've finished it. It's a thing, all right. Entirely possible. I didn't exactly dig into the history of Pokemon Pinball before I started playing this. Yeah, because it is all area dependent, isn't it? What Pokemon shows up where, and then it's that plus randomization. Devil's Hunt. So if you haven't heard of it, go watch the Coming Soon video I put up earlier this week, because we're currently voting for what will be the next big video I make, what game that's going to be. Devil's Hunt is one of the candidates, and it is a really jank-ass game from 5-6 years ago that, yeah, it's I call it a black tank top game. If you're familiar with Red Letter Media, you know what black tank top projects are. It's that sort of thing where it's one guy who had more money and ideas in a sense who managed to con a bunch of people into making his project with him. And in this case, it was a not-so-good character action game set in a heaven and hell war sort of thing. I've played through it before. It's not good, but it has some charm in that way that only a vanity project can have. Devil Theme Mega Drive. Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. I can't remember the name of it, but I know what you're talking about, that devil-themed, like, Genesis pinball game. Oh, fuck. I cannot remember the name of it. Oh, I can travel. Anybody who's hyping up Devil's Hunt needs to put their money where their mouth is. Like, that's not... You can't actively try to pretend like that game is anything special. Like, there's charm to it. Again, it's got some jank charm to it. But man, that game has it's got some serious problems. And it also has the issue of being, like, really more of a half, maybe even a third of a game than a game. It ends very abruptly because they were fully expecting that they would be able to make, like, 3 or 4 of those games. And, you know, that was a bold expectation. But yeah, currently that's not in the lead for the vote. So I will see if that... I doubt that'll end up being what gets played for the next video. But, you know, still a few days left. You never know how the votes could change. Oh, yeah. Okay, when you say just hyping up how much of this... Yes, absolutely, then. Yeah, I mean, when it comes to losing balls on a pinball table, I find that really depends on the developer of the table. Which I'm going to get into some... We'll get into that more when we talk about when we go into Pinball Arcade, but like certain companies definitely have different philosophies when it comes to how much you should fuck over the player. Gottlieb, for example, they have massive drains, very easy for your balls to drain out. They've got lots of side drains that make it really easy to lose it all. Giant nightmare. Whereas you go to like a Williams table or a Bally table, they're much more focused on kind of giving you a fun experience, so it's a lot easier to keep the ball in play, but it's a lot harder to kind of get fun things to happen, so to speak. So you kind of expect to do more risk, and as a result, you lose your balls that way. Whereas, again, some of the older tables, and again, a lot of the Gottlieb tables, it's more about just like, nope, it's hard right from the start. Oh. This is why I'm not apparently paying much attention to that either, and losing that ball right from the get-go. Yeah, why do you think you can make multiple sequels? Man, the man had clearly a lot of expectations. I mean, he has a whole novel series based on it. Like, that's the thing. I mentioned in the video, the Coming Soon video, that, like, it's based off a novel called Equilibrium. He has, like, 12 more novels, at least 3 or 4 more in that series, the Equilibrium series. So he thinks that shit is the coolest, despite the fact that the Heaven Hell War thing is, like... you know, trite as fuck. Like, it's oh yeah, I don't know if it's exactly 12, but it's a lot. Like, you can go look it up, go look him up on Goodreads or whatever. He's got a whole shit ton of books. There we go. Oh, no, I'm not doing transitions. Well, I'm glad you feel that way too. As they pull your story about Devil's Hunt, it's okay. Yeah, Oddworld was similar, but Oddworld at the very least managed to get more out of it. I feel like they didn't necessarily at the time. Then again, I don't know. I'd have to go look up some more landing stuff, but wasn't thought to go that kind of crazy. I'll leave that joke to you in the comments, literally. All right, we're gonna switch over to Pinball Arcade. So back to the break screen. Get that out and transition back over. Alright. Where is Pinball Arcade? Do I not have it installed? Oh shit, I'd have to install it real quick. Really? I don't install it. Okay, well, it should install pretty quickly. We'll sit on the bright screen for a minute. Oh. Yeah, oh man, Evil West is good. I love Evil West. I'm looking forward to going back to that at some point. I mean, there's a reason why it was a candidate already. It just might be. That said, I do own that mug. That's why it's here. I love that mug. Cheap Canadian dollar store mug with the $50 bill on it. Makes you feel like you're rich, even though you spent fucking pennies on it at the dollar store. So yeah, we're gonna be on delay a little bit. I thought I had Pinball Arcade downloaded already. I apparently did not. So we're gonna let that download, chat a little bit, let that roll in place. Shouldn't take too long. Maybe it's because I have it on my Steam Deck is why I assumed I had to download it, because I definitely have it on my Steam Deck. It's probably because I'm downloading right now. Oh, that would be why. Yeah. Alright. That's rough. There, YouTube exploding. Let me see if I can fix that. Yeah, you're gonna get some buffering while we download. I'm sorry about that. it should be done relatively... Yeah. Maybe we'll switch over to a different game rather than pinball if we have to, or I'll just go back to Pokemon Pinball if it's going to be this bad. Yeah, we'll stick on Pokemon Pinball. That wasn't the plan, but it is what it is. Let me go pull that back up then. Oh well, we will do Pinball Arcade another time. Come on, you should be getting... should be fixed now. Widgets. I've turned off the... stream will pick it up now. Buffering habit. There we go. Alright. Yeah, we're gonna go back to pick up Pokemon Pinball. Sorry about that. Let's go back to... We'll go back to the... Yeah, we'll go back to the first one, though. I was actually quite enjoying the first one. Yeah. We'll play Pinball Arcade another time. For right now, we'll just go back to Pokemon Pinball. Because, yeah, forgot to download it. No Pokemon's on the Jazz. It might just take a second. Should be switching over now. That's my fault. I should have double-checked that Pinball Arcade was downloaded. Again, it's something I always have downloaded, or at least I thought I did. Stream should be all cleared up now. Everybody can see it again. Oh, no, that was a request. Only Jazz. No. I'm not just leaving it on the break screen the whole stream. Tempting as that would be. Ninja Gaiden 2. Which version are you playing? The recent re-release? Are you playing Sigma? Are you playing on the original 360 version? Because that's obviously the best if you've got it. Come on, get in that catch mode. Yeah, love Ninja Gaiden 2. I remember when that first came out, I played, I don't know, 3-4 hours straight, middle of the night, and went to bed with it in my head. And in my sleep, I was having a dream of, like, ninja parkour, and apparently it was punching and kicking my wife in our sleep. Sigma, the PC release. It's not... So the 360 version is kind of thought of as the best and generally accepted as the best because it is... It runs a little bit smoother. It's got proper blood, which the Sigma version does not. It does, like, the weird, like, purple, like, ghost stuff when you hit enemies. It's fine. Like, Sigma's fine. It just doesn't feel quite the same. Ooh, a recompile of Ninja Gaiden. Ooh, that would be fantastic. And I mean, that's assuming, too, that they don't get beat to the punch by Microsoft there, because there's been rumors that they're going to put out an official, like, 360 emulator, essentially, on PC. At which point, boom, if you've got Ninja Gaiden 2 there, you've got it. Oh, that's a crunchy Pikachu sound effect. Hey, Darcy, how's it going, man? Darcy, longtime viewer of the channel. Gonna get that Electro Buzz? Electro Buzz, that's his name. I'm very interested to hear about that, though. Nice. I need to get back to Baldur's Gate. I soft-locked myself in Act 3 and then never went back. Game audio is paused again. It really shouldn't be. Nothing has been touched. Yeah, I forget where I read it, but, oh, from the break. Oh. I'm gonna start remembering to fix that. I mean, Microsoft's emulation stuff has been pretty decent so far. Like, that's how all of the on-console emulation for, you know, the Series and Xbox One works. for their 360 stuff, and it's all the same architecture. It would be easy enough to translate it over. That said, I mean, sure, whatever. That recompile will still be better because that's not emulation. It'll be a straight, like, port, but, you know. No, I won't. Yeah, we'll see. I probably will constantly forget that. So many buttons on OBS, man. I don't know what to tell you. I'll blue table for a bit. Well, yeah. Oh, that's. I'm really surprised that never got a PC port. That feels like something, especially knowing Sega these days, where they're more than happy to just like dig through the back catalog a little bit and dump things. Like that game has never gotten a PC port at this point. It's crazy. The Condemned 2 is still trapped on consoles. Like, just seems like it'd be such an easy win for them. Oh, what am I doing? Yeah, don't worry, I mean, that's a video at some point. I've got Quantum Theory locked and loaded and ready to go. That's one I've never played that game, but I've always been very curious to try it. It looks like one of the weirder Japanese takes on we want to make Gears of War. All sorts of really weird 360 games from that era I definitely want to dig more into. Which, I mean, obviously, you can tell that from the coming soon videos. Man, I am just draining balls like crazy. That's what I get for not paying attention to what I'm doing. Dark Sector, I mean, hey, Dark Sector is the 25K sub-special. I'm working on that video, slowly, bit by bit, piece by piece, but we are quite a ways off from 25K, so it's not coming up for a while, even if I finish it. That said, I'm definitely, as I've been working on that video, I've definitely been remembering how much jank there is in that PC port, to the point where I'm debating going and finding a 360 copy, because yeah, it's that PC version. It's got some rough edges to it. Oh, I got the save wrong. But yeah, it's definitely coming. As soon as we hit 25K, I'll have that video ready by then, I'm sure, with the pace the channel is moving. So as soon as we hit 25K, that video will go live. There will be a Dark Sector video. Game definitely has some really cool ideas. I mean, obviously I don't want to go too deep into it. Spoil a video that will come out in God knows how long. Years. But, yeah, just, like, there's a flow to that game I really appreciate. With how they kind of force you to stick and move, because you can't carry most of the guns, at least at the start. Yeah, it's just not a... It's one of those games that you can tell is kind of put together with duct tape. I think it's a custom engine for them too. I don't think it's Unreal Engine. I'd have to go double check, but it's that sort of thing where it's clearly like custom engine, or at least a lot of custom code that is just struggling to keep itself together, especially when it comes to a lot of the visual effects. That is a terrible game for 7th gen, like over post-processing, over bloom, over blur, all that stuff. And on the PC version at least, through the default display menu, you can tweak it with the ini file, but in the PC version, at least on the default stuff, like, there are key gameplay elements tied to some of those effects. Like, you need to use fire, for example, for a lot of the elemental puzzles. And, yeah, those are directly tied to the effects. If you turn off the effects, you can't see that fire, and you can't use it to work those puzzles. It's rough. Does it use the same engine as the Darkness 2? That's crazy, because at least from what I recall, the Darkness 2 runs great. Then again, I'm sure they did a lot of tweaking after that, so... what am I doing? I've not had to pick a Pokemon before. I got a Thunderstone. Okay. Oh, I can go collect it up there, and I bet that's going to level him up. Or evolve him. Yeah, you got it. I do love the scroll. I am a sucker for a for the news, the ticker at the bottom. There we go. Multiplier. I gotta get that. Okay. Up in the corner there. Ugh. It's gonna be tough to get up in the corner there. Oh, there we go. It's gonna be tough to get, I say, as I immediately get it. I gotta go top. Got a whole process to make evolution work here. Got a saver on, that's fine. A minute to get that hole up in the middle of the playfield. Okay, I can do that. Come on. Weird gravity up there, still fucking me up. Get in there. Yep. Well, and I mean, Dark Sector is, in all but name, a prequel to Warframe. Like, a lot of the same ideas, a lot of, obviously, a lot of the same visual designs for the Tenno stuff. That's all in Dark Sector. Get the fuck in there! Stop circling that drain! Was Darkness 2 made by that same studio? Because I know they made Darkness 1, but, yeah. Warframe is a game I've tried multiple times to get into, but just the layers of meta progression to Warframe, of sitting on your ship and upgrading and building things and all that nonsense, has that is always what kind of like immediately sends me out of it. I will, probably as part of the Dark Sector review, sit and try to play a good chunk of Warframe just to get a better idea of it, but yeah. I've tried to get into it, it's just not ever a game I've managed to spend significant amounts of time with. Yeah, I felt the same. I was very excited when they announced that. You know, complete with a bunch of era-appropriate music to say, hey, we're doing essentially what looked like a Dark Sector prequel of sorts with the 1999 thing, and then, yeah, it wasn't that at all from everything I heard. Cool ideas, but, yeah. I've heard Soulframe is decent, their follow-up to Warframe. Obviously not the same franchise, but kind of same, you know, their next big MMO of sorts, and, yeah. They're an interesting studio, Digital Extremes. That's Digital Extremes, right? Yeah. They've been around forever. Go. Cleared. Nice. Does that give me anything? More points, of course, but yeah. Oh, jeez. Am I still on my first ball? I really have not been tracking it very well. Certainly going like crazy, though. Oh, there it goes. Oh, I still got the saber going, so we're good. But yeah, Dark Sector, such an interesting game. Yeah, even Warframe brats don't know how to play Warframe. That is what I have heard. It's one of those games that's just been going on for so long at this point where it's kind of lost the plot design-wise. I mean, that was definitely a game from kind of the opening era of microtransactions and live service, where the design of that has changed so much over the years, just as that, I was gonna say genre, but let's be real, business model has changed as well, so I'm not surprised it's very different than it was. Oh, the crunchiest voice clip I've ever heard with that Pikachu save, just, oh. Get him. Get him. Oh, what am I doing? Flailing like I shouldn't be. That'll get him on the rebound. There we go. That's never not satisfying. The Pokemon catch noise is just, like, designed to be satisfying. I've never played the GBA port of Max Payne. I can only imagine, because there's, like, no fucking memory on those carts in the first place. Trying to cram any sort of voice acting in there is nightmarish. Not to mention the sound chip on the GBA is decent, but not good by any stretch of the imagination. Oh man, I have to go play that now. Fast boost that Pikachu. Yeah, blow up my speakers in my ears at the time. Oh man. Just rip right in, eh? Maybe next stream we take a quick look at that. We'll see. Ooh, that sounds gross in a way I want to experience. There is something special about VO that's that crunchy. That era of just the sound chip can't really do it, but damn it, we're gonna have VO in here regardless. Oh, I'm sure there is. I'm absolutely positive those Star Wars games just bit crush the hell out of all those themes. I mean, GBA is one of those consoles that was like the PSP, like the DS at times too, where it's just like shooting for the stars as far as like what they're trying to make that tech do when it's really not designed for it. Do really like these very jazzy renditions of the Pokemon themes. Is it? I mean, I've, again, never played it. I can see them doing, like, a solid top-down version of that, though, which is how from what I've seen screenshots of it, I think that's what it looks like. We'll see if we can't find it. I'll do some digging. Not that I want all of these streams to be old retro games, but, you know, we'll dig into that. We'll see if we can't dig into that a little bit next week. Yeah, you were the one who recommended it last week, Real Slap. That's why I grabbed it. We're going to play the sequel, too. We've actually already played some of the sequel, but we'll go back to it in a bit. These are solid. We were going to play regular pinball as well, but I forgot I didn't have Pinball Arcade downloaded and killed the stream with it, so we'll play that another week. I do prefer the music, I think, for Pinball 1 compared to Pokemon Pinball 2, though. Music here is just a little bit more lively, it's a little bit more fun. Whereas Pinball 2, it's going very much for that kind of, like, slow, relaxed, like you're playing it to chill down from stuff. And has its place, works as well, but, like, I think this is a little bit more fun. Man, I love my GBA. I mean, specifically the SP. Let's, you know, GBA regular, like, it's a good console when you can actually fucking see the screen. But man, I played the absolute shit out of Game Boy Advance SP. Like that was my life for a little bit. Game Boy Pocket, the DS Lite. Yeah, I mean, DS Lite's also very solid. Especially if, you know, you had one of those flash cards that let you play kind of a little bit of everything on there. So, we'll talk more about Zen Pinball another day, because that's a conversation I want to have when we play Pinball Arcade and some other stuff. I in general, though, am not a huge fan of the way the Zen games play. Pinball Effects and Zen Pinball. Like, there's just... Their ball physics feel a little weird. They're a little slow. The acceleration's a little off. And they try to kind of split the difference between what I was talking about earlier, where... You either design video pinball to be dead accurate to real pinball, where everything you're doing could be done on a real table and it feels like a real table, or you put on all sorts of weird shit that only a video machine can do. And Zen kind of tries to split the difference, and I just don't think it works. Yeah. Man, I love the idea of somebody holding up their 3DS like it's their phone in a concert. So they can record it. Like, that is gloriously just jank. Like, that, I love that. I just love that image. Get that Growlithe. That is a unique sprite for this game. I'm kind of surprised that it's not all just direct sprites from regular Pokemon for this. Come on. Get him. There we go. There we go. That delay, like it's good to escape. I'm playing the pinball game. It's not good to escape. Okay. I will say, now that I've been playing these for like, God, an hour and however long, I've definitely kind of got the table muscle memory down. Where, not dipping out too much. What, Pokemon Pinball? They'll dip out? Oh, or you mean in regular Pokemon? I mean, I would always mash. I don't know if it ever helps. I'd mash the shit out of the B button. It seemed to do the job. We'll do a little bit more. We'll do one more run on the blue table, then we'll jump back over to Pinball 2. Oh man, so if I could pick an actual pinball machine to own, and I wouldn't, simply because pinball machines are to own a pinball machine is to own a wilting bird that will happily eat all of your money and time, because they require very specific and very careful maintenance, and all of the parts basically no longer exist and are custom made. So, don't buy a pinball machine, but if I could buy an actual pinball machine to own, it would be Black Knight 2000. I love that machine. I love the way it's designed. I love the way the ramps feel, and very specifically, and I'm very mad that we don't have Pinball Arcade to play right now so I can talk about it. It has a dynamic soundtrack where it plays this 80s, like, hair metal theme that, as you are doing things, dips in, like, lyrics and choruses and verses about the Black Knight, and it's so good. It is easily one of my favorite tables, and it's, oh, love to own one. I just also would never want to actually have to care for it. But yeah, that's definitely one of, I mean, there's plenty of other really good machines as well, but that's definitely top of my list. The other one that I really like is this is kind of like complete opposite direction as well in terms of design. There's a billiards one design I think it is actually a Gottlieb machine, so it's not a fair machine, but it's went from like 65 or something like that. It's super old, purely electromechanical, and it's very chill. I could own one for display purposes, but I would feel bad owning a broken machine. Like, I feel like I would rather have that be in the hands of someone who could do something with it. Like, that feels like a waste to just have a broken machine. I think if I was gonna get a home pinball, anything like that, there are video home pinball machines you can get where it's like a pinball table, but with a video screen instead of a, proper table in there that you can then hook up to something like a Pinball Arcade or Zen Pinball or something like that. Oh, Black Hole's a great machine. Yeah, so all the Stern stuff is nice because it's all new, right? All the Stern machines you can get parts for, you can get maintenance for. Like, if I was gonna do a modern table, I'd probably get the Godzilla machine, because love that, but I'd get a Stern machine if I was gonna buy a new pinball table. Not that that's happening anytime soon. As we've talked about, my work situation precludes me from buying most things, let alone an expensive-ass pinball machine. But it's nice to dream. We can all dream. Yeah, Black Hole's a great machine, though. That does a really, if I remember correctly, Black Hole's got a really cool second table gimmick that I love, where you're playing on the second table underneath the glass. Like, it's just super cool. And that was one of those things that, for the time, really neat. I got Alien Colonial Marines on the list. The question I have to decide, though, is will I play the regular version of that game? Or will I play the version where you make that one little tweak that actually makes all the aliens, you know, pay attention and act properly? Because that's what broke that game's logic, is there's like a comma in the wrong spot of that code that just fucked everything up. I will say that. So I'm currently doing contract work. I'm in a similar boat to you, literally, where I'm doing contract work and I'm only working like essentially half days with it. And it's been kind of nice to have the afternoons to like work on video stuff and or just kind of play games for fun. The base game, yeah. If I'm playing that base game, that's a harder sell for me. It's not ideal. I mean, there's still issues with it even once you fix that problem with Aliens Colonial Marines. Like, it's still poorly written. There's still a lot of jank to it. There's still, you know, it still kind of controls the way it does. Life is suffering. I'm not Buddhist, so, you know. I don't have to suffer in the same way. You know, Buddhists can suffer through Aliens Colonial Marines all they want. That can be their trial. I'm good. We'll see. It'll get on the list one of these days. I'm probably going to do a... You should be hearing me still. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, even fixed, Aliens Colonial Marines is not a good game. It's still got a lot of issues. You should still be hearing me. Is everybody else still getting me? Or is it just, Gorilla Slap who's lost me? Just you. Okay, cool. Try refreshing the stream. That might help you out. I say that as though you can hear me. Okay, there you go. But yeah, it is Colonial Marines is like you say, Flesh Clouds. It is a game of the era. It suffers from a lot of those problems, and even with better AI, it's still a Gearbox production that, despite what they said about being Aliens fans, they did not put their whole ass into. You guys can't hear me, eh? Nothing has changed on my stream settings. Flesh Clouds, if you can't hear me as well, try refreshing, because it seems like maybe that's a YouTube issue. Yeah, that's what we were just talking about, is the AI is easily fixed. At least this has been a more technically competent stream than last time. Whatever little issues aside, we did not spend the first 40 minutes fucking around trying to make it so you guys could actually hear me in the game at the same time. And then still not actually fixing that. So, you know, I'll take it. Hey, 5 times one player, nice. Yeah, I know. So, the thing that fixed the AI, it wasn't even a mod. It was, it was a coding error that fucked up the AI in Colonial Marines. If I recall, it was strictly like, something along the lines of like adding a comma. I don't think it was exactly that. I think it was like an if or a for or something like that. Like, it's a really basic coding mistake. But, yeah, like, it wasn't like anything somebody had to go in and do a huge ton of work for. It was quite literally like, there is a fucked up line of code. Yeah, spelling error. That's what it was. It was a spelling error. Thank you. Man, so, you know, this is obviously, I've just kind of started streaming, second stream ever. This is, having done video recording for years, I assumed, oh, it'll be easy. I just turn on the Switch, basically. No, man, streaming is complicated as hell. Yeah. Borderlands voice actors not doing a great job. Like, that's what I remember, too, is, like, a lot of the story and acting and just, like, that side of that game does not feel right. It does not fit Aliens. It does not fit what they're trying to do tonally. It just feels rough. Oh. And... oh, that jittering up the sides of the ramp is rough. I mean, that game... certainly lots of videos on that game. I remember that game being just the punching bag when it came out. Which, rightly earned, but that was all anybody could talk about was just how much of a piece of shit that game was. Oh, yeah, that's, the Birch siblings. Their whole thing. Which, you know, we all remember the meme. At least you're not, Anthony Birch? Is that his name? I don't remember. But yeah. You get what you pay for, I guess. I mean... there's still a couple good ones. There's, yeah, I mean, obviously there's some AVP stuff that's good. And there is one Aliens... there's that Aliens DS game that's a Metroidvania. I think it's made by Way Forward. That's pretty decent. Which I'm blanking on the name of right now. But that one's not bad. But yeah, it's definitely a mixed bag for the Aliens games. Yes. Anthony Birch and his Wii U. Yeah. God, what is that DS Aliens Metroidvania called again? I can't remember it for the life of me. But yeah, that game is a very solid Aliens game. Yeah. The Aliens 3 game's not bad. I remember, yeah, the 16-bit versions are good. I seem to remember there's an NES version of that, though, that is a nightmare. Alien Infestation, that's the one. Yep. That game's really solid. That's, if you are looking for a good Aliens game, you like, you know, you like Metroidvanias, I totally recommend that. Fireteam, I need to get into Fireteam. I bought that. That's on the list for a video at some point. I want to jump into that. I mean, a lot of the Predator games are kind of the same. Concrete Jungle has its moments, but it is jank as fuck, especially near the end. And then beyond that, it's kind of... I haven't played that weird, like, asymmetrical one that came out not too long ago. That Sony published, I think. Hunting Grounds, I think. And then beyond that, it's AVP games. Alright, let's jump back to the sequel for a bit. So, transition back over to our break room screen, and I will load up the second game. We'll kind of finish off with that for half an hour or so. There we go. I mean, you're saying bold things there, but I would argue that Predator 2 is okay. I like a lot of Predator 2. Is it as good as Predator 1? No, but there is a... I love the 90s Los Angeles, everything is sweaty and everything is terrible because of the crime vibe of Predator 2. Yeah, I mean, Alien for me is like the first movie. I like Aliens fine, but like, Alien for me is the first movie. That's the one I care about. That's the one that I think does everything I want there perfectly, and then I kind of haven't cared about anything else Alien. Yeah, the atmosphere for Alien 3 is good. So, I didn't work at GameStop, it's there for vibes, but I used to work at a Blockbuster, which is where a lot of those vibes come from. That's why I have it there. But, you know, GameStop is a little bit more... I would say, that's the word I'm looking for. I feel like GameStop gets the vibe across better. But yeah, my touch point for it is Blockbuster. I miss working at Blockbuster. That's a job I would still do if that company existed in more than like one store. I think that one store still exists. Yeah, the modern alien stuff never really did it for me either. I did watch Prometheus, and yeah, just did nothing. Don't let your dreams do it. I mean, I would love to open a video store or a rental store of that sort of thing. God knows, but like, that's not a reasonable venture for someone to do in the year 2026. But yeah, good times. I used to love recommending games to people, recommending movies to people. Best part about working at Blockbuster was you got a shit ton of free rentals. You got, what was it? Like 10 free movie rentals a week. I think it was like 3 or 5 free game rentals. At least that's the way it was at my store. So you caught up on everything. You saw all the new movies you wanted to. Any new games that came out, you played them right away because you were able to rent them immediately. Because as soon as they would, you get them ahead of time. And then as soon as like they unlocked at midnight, where it's like now we were allowed to put them on the shelves, as you're clocking out that night, you just rent the game for yourself. It's good times. I played so much that way. It was fantastic. Not to mention just, you know, chill job of just organizing tapes. And again, making recommendations. Yeah, oh yeah, it was tons. If you were working there, like that was the employee benefit. Is you basically never paid for a rental again. Because you get so many free. More than you would ever, like, realistically watch in a week. And I mean, it wasn't just for fun. It was exactly that. They wanted you to do your homework. The whole point is so that you are seeing those new movies and you know what to recommend to people. So I was working there in kind of like from like 2006, 7, 8. So past the years of Titanic, we definitely had a couple of copies in like the class, in like, you know, the general section, but not, you know, this would have been well after it was a main thing where you would have tons of copies of Titanic on the shelf. Oh yeah, absolutely. New games in stock. Like, man, how is this new game already gone? Staff are renting it 100%. Most of the staff at the store I worked at were gamers, so it was like it was genuinely a fight over who got to grab it first. The managers would just buy it because again, they could do the same thing where it's like, there's no pre-ordering, there's no waiting for the midnight launch. It's I'm here. I can just, as I'm clocking out that night, just buy it. Oh yeah, there was definitely a few movies like that we had that was just, we had shelves of single movie because that movie did really well. I know that was kind of right as like Marvel stuff was starting to kick off. We had some of that, I believe. Good times. Oh god, yeah, I miss the rental days for just that alone. Like, I got into so many weird genres and played so much interesting stuff just because, hey, I might as well rent it. I need something new to play. So many obscure RPGs I played because of that. So many games I never thought I'd get into, I got into because of that. Like, that's, my fighting game experience exists initially because I would just, like, rent any fighting game I could find from the store. That's how I played all of the Marvel vs. Capcom and, like, you know, X-Men vs. Street Fighter and all that. Those were all rentals. That's how I discovered Harvest Moon was as a rental, because it's like, I've played an RPG, I like RPGs, this thing says it's an RPG, it's about farming though, what could that possibly be? I wouldn't probably buy it, but I certainly was able to rent it. Good times. Oh, Redbox. I never did Redbox. I like the idea of Redbox though, though I also know that they often had a lot of crap. Not that Blockbuster was much better. I mean, we had all of the terrible, you know, like Hellraiser sequels and stuff, those were on our shelves. I've always heard renting from the library is a fantastic way to go about that. I never bothered to go about it, though, because our library was not as close as the Blockbuster was. much time do you spend playing this sample console at the register? You know what? I never really did. I never really bothered with that, because when we were at the register, we were a busy enough store where there was not a lot of downtime when you were at the registers. You were dealing with customers. The downtime was when it's like, all right, it's time to go put shit back on the shelves. Which I enjoyed. We would have, there would be kind of like, the store is a mess, everything's out of order, like, it's been a long time since we've done a full clean, and you'd have these, like, overnight shifts where it's from, like, 10 p.m. to, like, 4 a.m., and it's just, like, half the staff in the store resorting everything. And I kind of dug those shifts, honestly. Just very chill, you throw a headphone in and you're just sorting through movies. Are you thinking of Gamefly? That was the game by mail one, which I never used. I always kind of looked at it, thought about it, but never used it. I heard decent things about Gamefly. It seemed like a cool idea. I mean, that was the way Netflix was originally as well, where, you know, you were renting DVDs in the mail. Which, you know, crazy to think that's what Netflix once was, but... God, I feel old now. This whole conversation is just feeling all of my gray hairs at once. There we go. Yeah, they advertise the absolute shit out of Gamefly. I saw ads for that everywhere. And gaming magazines especially. Like, I you know, get the Game Informers every now and again because you're in the GameStop anyways. You might as well grab it at the counter. I remember having seen a bunch of Gamefly ads in there. Any of the sites back then, like, that was kind of the thing of its day. I always forget to move Pikachu over. Ah, well. Hey, how's it going, Mindspill? We're going for another half hour. You're catching us right near the end. Chatting about the good old days of consoles. Of, rentals, rather. Kids on something an Alt F4 in the stream because it's full of old bit talk. Yeah, I mean... Yeah. I couldn't blame anybody. Yeah, I mean, that is the bummer with those sorts of things. Oh, and it's the bummer with, you know, we still have that today with Game Pass and all that sort of things is... It's great to be able to try all that stuff out, but you lose that sense of ownership that having a collection has, that really being able to just kind of dig into something, a classic whenever you want to. Like, you lose that feeling. Oh, Game Informer, yeah, I remember buying all... I wasn't a regular subscriber, but it was the sort of thing where whenever I was in there anyways, like, I would grab it. Because, why not? And I was always, like, at least back in the day, it was decent. Decent reviews, decent, like, interviews and stuff. I mean, we talked about it in the Epic Mickey video of the big reveal there. I remember reading that magazine, picking that one up at the counter and thinking, you know, like everybody else, being like, man, this concept's really cool. I actually remember specifically, for that one, I can't remember what I was doing, but I was meeting somebody at night, like the day I had picked it up. Like, I was going out to meet somebody in a park for whatever reason. And it was like a dark, rainy night, and I'm sitting there at the park waiting for them, and I'm sitting like on a swing in the dark in an empty park reading about Epic Mickey, and it was just like the most, like, mid-2000s, like, emo-core moment, I guess, for lack of a better term, that I could ever think of, where it felt very weirdly thematic. Oh, I'm supposed to be traveling the sections. I should be doing that. I haven't actually been paying attention to what's going on the table. Just keeping the ball going. Come on, get out of the bumpers. There we go. Come on, need to catch the ball. There we go. There we go. I didn't murder anybody. Drugs might have been involved, I don't remember. I did grow up in the Pacific Northwest. You know, There's a reputation out there for a reason. No, I was never really all that big into that. It was, but you know, you're young. You're like, I want to do that kind of stuff. We say very vaguely, intentionally. Nice to hear that soundbite not bit crushed to hell. Oh, I didn't realize the bumper Pokemon changed depending on the location you're in. Now that we're in the forest, they're Lotads rather than... Oh no, now they're back to those. What changes them then? But yeah, I don't remember what I was doing. It might have been drugs, but I think I actually... You know what I think it might have been? I think I had agreed to buy like an MP3 player or something off Craigslist, and I was meeting the guy at the park. I think that's what it was. Neutral location for that sort of handoff. I don't know. We're talking vague memories from a very long time ago. Oh. Oh, that's neat. I've not seen this bonus game before. Yo, yeah, super sketch. No one's saying it's not sketchy. It was a different time. Have a good one, Fleshclads. Talk to you later, man. See you next week. Oh, no. There we go. Keep it up. Such a weird, chill little minigame. That doesn't seem like it's tracking the baskets I'm making, so I don't know what really the point of this is, beyond just maybe trying to get this... Oh, maybe I'm supposed to be getting those things in there. I don't know. No, it's just make baskets for fun, I guess. Oh. You've given me hurry up like you've given me a point. So he wanted murder. I mean, you know. I don't actually have an answer to that. I don't have a follow-up to that. Okay, there we go. I feel like you put a counter on screen for that. Alright, fine. Tally it up at the end, I guess. Yeah, it was unclear. I mean, apparently both are fine, but it was very, unclear. Oh, it's the raccoon one. Get the raccoon one. What do I feel like I've been on this table for a while. Good God. Again, the muscle memory is set in at this point where like I can finally do decent table to table. Ooh, another bonus. A lot of these bonus games are great. Again, nice little kind of good use of digital table as, you know, digital table. Get in there. There you go. Yeah. It's like a hide and seek game? Alright. And the music has gone very quiet. Alright. Oh, there he is. I see. He's walking around. That's a fun idea. You've got to look at the stuff moving to catch him. That's tricky. From the corner. There he is. That's nightmare, because you gotta focus on the flippers as well as little details in the environment. Like, that's tricky. Oh, I see, and those things give you, like, vision. This is definitely very intricate for digital pinball. Like, you know, you compare this to the space pinball that was talked about earlier. Definitely more to this. Compared to a lot of the Zen pinball tables, like, there's definitely more to this. They've really taken the idea that we are doing a digital pinball and using it to the full extent, which I do appreciate. If you're going to do that, you might as well lean it fully into it. I like a lot of these graphics too. Like, they've clearly done a lot of, like, really nice sprite work for this to try to make it look just as smooth and fun as possible, when they could have just reused all of the assets. Like, you just rip all the sprites right out of Pokemon and slap them in here, you would have sold just as many copies. But it does feel like they actually tried, which, you know, always appreciate that. And yeah, Gorilla Slap, if you're still here, I definitely agree this is the better of the two. I think I like the first one's music better. There's parts of the first one I like more just from a design point of view, but I definitely think this is the more interesting game. Let's do a run. Ooh, second score, nice. Let's do a run of the Sapphire table, and then I think we will call it for this week. But that's still one more run, and we'll play a little bit more and call it good. I definitely think I like the Ruby table better, just from what I've played of this one already. Yeah, I was kind of hoping that Arceus would be like that, though from what I heard it wasn't. I haven't actually played that one yet. There's a lot of Switch stuff I have missed out on, because my wife kind of took over the Switch at a certain point, and I was like, that's fine, I'm not really using it. But I was hoping Arceus would be that, but we've never really gotten that proper, like, Pokemon action game. I mean, I guess Pokken kind of, though obviously that's a fighting game, not a Pokemon RPG, so, eh. I know some of the GameCube games they're also still not action games, so they try to get closer to being a little bit more involved combat-wise. You had a lot more time to catch it than I thought you did. Yeah, I mean, it is surprising we haven't gotten a new one. I could see Nintendo maybe dipping back into that at some point. Especially with, you know, maybe that's a spin-off for a couple years. We'll see how the new one, Waves and Wind, or Waves and Water does, or whatever it's called. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of why I always was more of a Digimon guy. It suffers from a lot of the same issues on that front, but they do try to do a little bit more with it as far as, like, honestly, by making you control Digimon, at least for, like, Digimon World back in the day, less directly, where it's more about, like, there's more of a raising aspect to it. The Legend series. Yeah, so that's what I was thinking of, like, Arceus and such. Which I still haven't played those, but, yeah. Yeah, I mean, Claire Obscure's ideas are not new. It's action-based combat in the same... It's time-based combat the same way, technically, like Paper Mario and Legend of Dragoon and so many other games have done. But they do it so snappily that it really does kind of put a lot of other games to shame. I really need to go back and, like, put more time into Claire Obscure. The issue is that's one of those games where I never want to just play, like, an hour of it. If I'm playing it, I want to sit there and spend, like, several hours and play it properly. ZA was a good step, but was balanced poorly. I have heard as much. I heard there was definitely a lot of kind of mixed opinions on ZA. Whatever. A Pokemon action RPG would genuinely go very hard. I think I would want to see something like that, though, differentiated a little bit, where it would probably be narratively, for lack of a better term, more in line with like the Pokemon dungeon stuff, where you are playing the Pokemon rather than a trainer. I feel like that would be the easiest way to make an action RPG out of Pokemon, to remove that layer of the trainer. ZA. I mean, I'm Canadian. I should be ZA. But yeah, I am surprised we haven't gotten a new Pokemon Pinball in quite a long time. You think that would have been, especially like the DS and 3DS, like with the dual screen, like you could do, like this is already essentially having to do two screens and you're just scrolling up. Like you could do both screens. That being said, when you do that sort of thing on the DS or the 3DS, you have that gap in the middle, which does kind of screw things up. Like, have you ever played like Arkanoid or anything like that on a DS or 3DS? It feels weird because you've got that jump, and it's just that moment, that half second of like insecurity where you can't see where the ball is, and it's just like, ah! I can see that being very frustrating. But, you know, now that we got the Switch, it could easily work. That could work too, yeah. It kind of just swaps out to action-based, like swapping to the Pokemon when you do the actual combat. I think that would work just fine. I think the big thing is just them getting other developers involved in Pokemon. I know, you know, Game Freak obviously still making them, still been doing it, but you can tell they kind of want to do something else from all the other projects they do. That I would love to see Nintendo let another one of their studios really just go full bore and develop like a mainline Pokemon thing and see what their take on it would be. Yeah, something. Man, a platinum. I mean, obviously, Dragon's Dogma is not platinum, but Nier Automata is platinum. Platinum-based Pokemon action RPG would be a thing. Yeah, that first Ni no Kuni game is a game I want to love, but man, its attempt to do that mixture of kind of turn-based and real-time is tricky. Let's put it that way. It's a little rough. Come on. So many games have tried to kind of like rebuild the wheel when it comes to turn-based and action systems kind of working together. I like the sequel. The sequel's a little bit more straightforward though, as far as a like gameplay system goes. It's very much just kind of a Tales style action RPG rather than going for the weird like mix of turn-based and action combat that Ni no Kuni was. Yeah, Ni no Kuni would be a great game for the list. It's one I want to cover at some point. The issue is just being an RPG, especially a level 5 RPG. It's fuck off long, which means making that video would take forever. And until I'm at a point where I'm making multiple videos and I have more time. So there was multiple levels to the sequel. The sequel had the majority of the combat was kind of like a Tales-style action RPG combat, and then there was a tactics mode as well, where there's like a whole thing where you were doing that. Ronin. I don't know that I know that game off the top of my head. Is Ronin the full name, or does it have another name? Come on, get down there. There we go. Oh. Full name is Ronin. I'll have to look into that, because I'm not aware of that game. But yeah, so yeah, Ni no Kuni, like, it has action RPG combat, but then the other side of it is there's this whole, like, tactics strategy mode as well that, yeah, as you commanding a bunch of little guys and having kind of like a... I can't remember it well enough that I could give a counter example, but yeah. It had a bunch of weird layers. There's also like a kingdom management layer to it as well. There's a lot of stuff in Ni no Kuni too. It's a weird game. ...2D game, sort of inspired by Gun. Oh, interesting. Oh, now I remember Ronin. I didn't realize that had a turn-based aspect to it. Because yeah, I remember that being as I remember that as a gunpoint, like copycat essentially. Huh? I'm gonna have to check. I might own that. I think I probably do. To dive into that. I didn't realize there's a turn-based side to that. Interesting. So many indie games from that, like that era, that kind of like 2008 to 2017 era. That just I played a whole ton of them, and they just melange in my brain. I cannot remember specifics for half of them. A lot of good ones in there, but yeah, just too many. Not that it's made any better now, obviously. There's more games releasing than ever before. It's impossible to keep track. Ah, come on, Pikachu. Not help me out there. Have a good one, Mindspill. We'll be wrapping up pretty soon, too. As soon as we're done this table. See if we can get that evolution going at the very least, because that's a fun minigame. I don't think we got to see what it looks like on this table, actually. There we go. What are we going to evolve? We're going to evolve this leech-looking thing. Barboach. Oh, come on. I can make that. There we go. Where's the last one? Oh, it's up there. Alright. Oh, no, I've got the ball saver on. It's fine. Get the kicker back going. There we go. Now, where's the last one? Is it up around the top? I bet it's up around the top. That's where they hit it on the other table. Oh, come on. I got the saver on. I'll be fine. Around the top? Yeah, it's right around the top. Okay. So I'm going to do a full loop on the table. And get in the hole. Gravity on that hole is not ideal. You always have to get it on the down hole, on the downturn. Oh, interesting. It's part of the Flying Wild Hog team. Yeah, I quite like Flying Wild Hog. So, I actually love Shadow Warrior 2. I need to go back to that as well. Yeah, so the inciting incident of Ni no Kuni 2 is that you were basically Ronald Reagan in your limo driving to unspecified American city, which then gets nuked, and you get isekai'd into Fantasyland, where you're now 20 years old again and fighting off rat soldiers with a fucking gun. It's ridiculous. Like, the rest of that game, whatever. That part, the opening of that game, is one of my favorite bits of JRPG in a while, just because it's so completely out of pocket. And that president stuff, like, barely shows up ever again. I'm a sucker for a loot system, so that part of Shadow Warrior 2 didn't bug me. But I can see that if you don't like it, that would piss you off. I know a lot of people don't like the Neo games for that same reason. They can't stand all the loot. Whereas again, I like loot, so I love those games. But completely fair enough. I haven't played the third one. I've heard the third one is not good. Not for Neo, for Shadow Warrior. Played Neo 3 actually. Neo 3 is great. But yeah, I've heard Shadow Warrior 3 is not good. I'm up on the bumpers. Come on. Catch one more Pokemon. Oh, you... See, I didn't find the balance was too much of an issue. But then again, I haven't played it in a while. Maybe I should go back and give it another play. Yeah, I mean, it kind of just felt like it was just trying to be going for over the top. Like, it wasn't trying to be balanced, and I was okay with that. I didn't find it to be especially difficult from what I remember. But, yeah. I thought I already caught a Goldeen. I guess we haven't changed location yet. Hey, there we go. I don't know why I keep expecting it to break out. I know it's not going to. They're not going to make me do it again. Ooh. Oh, it gave you really bad loot in terms of poor balance. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's tons of trash loot, but... Yeah. I will certainly agree with that. I remember getting lots and lots of, I think it was like gems was a loot in that game or something along those lines, and it was real bad. Oh, cool. So this must be kind of like the expected end game for the story of the table, is you fighting against Kyogre, I think? We're in the era of Pokemon where I don't remember all the names. Ugh. Nothing I could have done to save that ball. Come on. Where are you? Oh, that's fun. Oh, and I gotta crack it out. I like that. That's a fun idea. Crack the ball out of the ice like that. Again, this game overall has done digital pinball really smart, where it's really using it in some smart ways. Do things you just would not otherwise be able to do. Oh yeah, if I remember, it's been a long time, but I remember the thing with that game was, it was basically just like going for anything, sort of buffing elemental damage types for whatever kind of gun you were maining, basically. Get out of there. Come on. Oh. Really do love that idea of icing up the ball like that. Just such a fun idea for a pinball gimmick. Though those whirlpools suck. I really don't like those. Anything that makes you, like, fully lose control of your ball is always infuriating. Come on. Oh, what am I doing? Come on! Get up there. Ugh. I don't think I'm going to beat this. I would appreciate a counter of some kind. A health bar, something. Let me know how far along I am with this. Yeah, I will... I'm in the same boat. The problem is it hasn't gone to a stiff enough sale that I've been willing to do it. There we go. I mean, that's the way I feel for a lot of bad games, is I don't care how bad people say it is, I still kind of want to try it. I mean, obviously, that's pretty clear with my channel being my channel. It's always just like, when is it going to get to the point where I can justify that pickup? And Shadow Warrior 3 just hasn't quite gotten there yet. It hasn't been in a bundle that I haven't either owned everything from, or it just makes sense, or been cheap enough individually where it makes sense to pick it up yet. It will be one day. It's all a waiting game. I don't use instant gaming. I'll have to take a look. Go-to is generally fanatical. Right down the middle. Is that the end of it? That's the end of it. We're at about time anyways, so I think that's a good place to wrap things up. Hey, first place. Nice. Yeah. So that's been another stream. Great hanging out with you all. As a reminder, if you have not voted in the recent coming soon for the next main video, that vote ends Monday at midnight, I recall. So go drop those votes in now. Watch the video, see what the candidates are, pop them in. And we'll be deciding that on Monday night. I'll throw up a comment on that video and in the community tab. And yeah, beyond that, I will see you all next week, or whoever decides to jump in next week, for something else. Probably not pinball. Something else. Have a good one, everybody. See y'all later, and cheers. Where do you vote? Oh, so you just watch the video and then just leave a comment under that video. That's all you gotta do. I do a ranked thing, so you could just say, hey, I want this game, or you could say, rank out the whole list, and kind of put them in order, and I'll count it regardless. I have a whole big spreadsheet that's got it all locked in. Yeah. You get to that, though. I will see y'all next week, and have a good one. Bye, everybody.